US shutdown's outcome totally foreseeable. Ukraine ministers resign. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today and my name is Daryl Baptist. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Wednesday called the recent government shutdown utterly pointless and foolish, accusing Democrats of using Americans as leverage in a failed political tactic. Johnson said the outcome was totally foreseeable, criticizing the opposition for causing disruptions to paychecks, flights, and food security. Johnson welcomed the bipartisan resolution that ended the impasse and advanced appropriations bills to the president's desk, but lamented the damage caused.
Get the job done. No, I'm pleased that tonight on the CR we had 3 appropriations bills that we'll send over to the president's desk in just a short amount of time tonight to get signed into law. That's an innovation too. As you all know, it's been years since Congress actually did separate appropriations bills. I'm proud of that achievement, but I'm really sad that it took us so long to get here. There was so much pain that had to be endured to get to this point.
The House passed the funding package 222 to 209 earlier in the day, with Republican support holding together following an endorsement from President Donald Trump. The bill, which had already cleared the Senate, is expected to be signed by Trump later on Wednesday, formally ending the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. U.S. President Donald Trump is committed to providing Americans a $2,000 check using money that has come into government coffers from Trump's tariffs. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Trump's staff is exploring how to go about making the plan a reality.
To U.S. citizens. Earlier this year.
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes, and we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen, and so his team of economic advisors are looking into it, and when we have an update, we'll provide one.
Trump on Monday said the United States faced an economic and national security disaster if the Supreme Court ruled against his use of an emergency powers law to impose sweeping tariffs against nearly every country. President Donald Trump said he had an obligation to sue the BBC over a misleading speech edit, stopping short of announcing legal action in a Fox News interview aired on Tuesday. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Trump remains deeply concerned about what she called the purposeful and dishonest editing of his remarks in a BBC describing the broadcaster as a leftist propaganda machine funded by British taxpayers.
I know the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. You have been there, you've seen them in their interactions, you've questioned both leaders in your time joining us when we've gone to the United Kingdom a few different times now. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain.
Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer warned that the BBC should get their house in order after Trump said he had an obligation to sue the corporation for $1 billion over a misleading speech edit. Speaking in Parliament, Starmer said he supported a strong and independent BBC, but he also believed it should uphold the highest standards to be accountable and correct errors quickly. Over in West Asia, over 623 Palestinian homes and structures have been destroyed by the Israeli regime since the beginning of the year. The demolition was part of the regime's campaign aimed at displacing Palestinians and imposing its control in the area. The move is also a continuation of the regime's policy of ethnic cleansing and pressure on Palestinian residents, exacerbating the daily suffering and worsening the housing crisis. Palestinians in Jerusalem face extreme difficulty in obtaining building permits and are often hit with heavy fines or risk having their homes demolished if built without permits. Ukraine's energy and justice ministers resigned over their alleged involvement in a sweeping corruption scandal in the country's energy sector. The government confirmed the departures of Justice Minister and Energy Minister following corruption allegations. The Prime Minister confirmed both ministers had submitted resignation letters shortly after President Volodymyr Zelensky called for the dismissal. Accusations of kickbacks in the energy sector are particularly sensitive among Ukrainians, who are facing daily blackouts ahead of winter as a result of massive Russian attacks on infrastructure. Ukraine has long since been plagued by corruption, with cracking down on graft seen as a key requirement for its bid to join the European Union. There is no genocide in northern Nigeria, said the African Union Commission chairperson, who rejected accusations by US President Donald Trump that very large numbers of Christians were being killed in Africa's most populous country.
There is no genocide in northern Nigeria. We have issued a communique making clear that what's going on in northern part of Nigeria has nothing to do with the kind of atrocities we see in Sudan or in some part of eastern DRC. I think the complexity of the situation in northern Nigeria should, push us think twice before, declaring such or making such statements.
Trump earlier this month said that he had asked the Defense Department to prepare for possible fast military action if Nigeria fails to crack down on the killing of Christians. He did not provide any specific evidence for his accusation. Nigeria's foreign ministry has said the country would keep fighting violent extremism and that it hoped Washington would remain a close ally. Nigeria, which has 200 ethnic groups practicing Christianity, Islam, and traditional religions, has a long history of peaceful coexistence. But it has also seen flare-ups of violence among groups, often exacerbated by ethnic divisions or conflict over scarce resources. Mali's foreign and communication ministers said that the country is recovering from recent supply disruptions and called on the African Union to take a firmer stance against terrorism and threats to Mali's territorial integrity. He added hundreds of trucks are now arriving daily to restore supplies to the capital and other regions following weeks of disruption.
De leur rêve pour venir à la réalité elle est différente. Le Mali est là, le Mali est debout, il y a des difficultés, il y a eu des perturbations du système d'approvisionnement. À un moment, l'État s'est organisé, a mis en place un plan stratégique pour reprendre l'approvisionnement, pour assurer la sécurité des convois et plus généralement intensifier des opérations militaires pour la sécurisation du pays. Et progressivement, vous voyez que des centaines de camions arrivent par jour pour reprendre l'approvisionnement de Bamako et d'autres localités et nous allons maintenir ces efforts.
The communication minister urged the African Union to respond more decisively to what he described as regular attacks on Mali's unity and the complicity of certain member states in promoting terrorism for geopolitical purposes. Next, bus crash in Peru kills 37.
Guna mentol jimat tenaga untuk lebih jimat.
Welcome back to World Today. At least 37 people were killed and dozens injured after a bus plunged into a 200-meter deep ravine in Peru's Arequipa region. According to regional officials, the accident, one of the deadliest in Peru in recent years, occurred when the bus collided with a van and veered off the highway. Among the injured were an 8-month-old baby and 2 other children, with 26 people receiving medical treatment and 3 in serious condition. Authorities recovered 36 bodies from the ravine and confirmed another death at a local health center. Meanwhile, the Peruvian presidency expressed condolences and said it had mobilized medical support for the injured. The bus company did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Photos from the scenes showed the overturned bus at the bottom of the gully, surrounded by debris and personal belongings. Peru has seen a series of deadly bus accidents in recent years, often attributed to poor road conditions and vehicle maintenance in mountainous regions. India's government confirmed that it was treating a car blast that killed 8 people and wounded at least 20 others in Delhi as a terror incident and vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice as swiftly as possible. Earlier, police were checking whether there was a link between the blast and the previous arrests of a group of 7 men from the Restif Kashmir region with arms and bomb-making material. The blast on Monday evening outside Delhi's historic Red Fort was the first such explosion in the heavily guarded city of more than 30 million people since 2011. Indian authorities are investigating the blast under a stringent anti-terrorism law and have said that all angles are being probed. They have not named anyone or made any arrests in connection with the explosion. In a resolution adopted late on Wednesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet said the country has witnessed a heinous terror incident perpetrated by anti-national forces through a car explosion. New Delhi woke up once again, to a thick blanket of smog as air quality levels plunged to severe this week. Farmers have begun torching crop residue, a practice that sends plumes of smoke billowing across northern India and worsens air pollution in the region. Skies in Punjab bear an orange haze, with clouds of smoke rising from burning rice paddies, highlighting a practice that persists despite years of government crackdowns. Meanwhile, India imposed stricter anti-pollution measures in its capital, New Delhi, and adjoining areas as the air quality deteriorated to severe levels. The Commission for Air Quality Management said Stage 3 of the Graded Response Action Plan was enforced, keeping in view the prevailing trend of air quality and in an effort to prevent further deterioration. Wanted gambling kingpin Shi Zhijiang has been extradited to China from Bangkok yesterday after a Thai court earlier this week upheld an order that followed a legal battle lasting more than 3 years. Shi Zhijiang, a Chinese national who also holds a Cambodian passport, was arrested by Thai police in August 2022 on an international warrant and an Interpol red notice requested by Beijing, which accused him of running illegal online gambling operations. A Thai criminal court ordered his extradition in May 2024, and another court upheld the decision on Monday after an appeal by Shi Zhijiang's legal team. Thai police stated that he will be extradited to China to stand trial for operating illegal casinos and gambling websites, as well as using Myanmar as a base for these illegal operations to launder money. Pakistan's parliament approved a constitutional amendment to expand the powers of the army chief and curb the remit of its Supreme Court, a move that critics said had done irreparable harm to the country's democracy. The lower house of parliament approved the legislation with a more than two-thirds majority, with only 4 lawmakers voting against. The upper house passed the bill 2 days earlier after the opposition boycotted the debate, an unusually swift passage for a constitutional change. Such amendments usually require weeks or months of consideration. The amendment will become law once signed by the president, a formality. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif hailed the amendment as a step towards institutional harmony and national unity. Critics say the changes concentrate power in the hands of the military and the ruling coalition. The Indonesian government's hallmark program to provide free meals to combat malnutrition in the country has contributed to nearly half of food poisoning cases this year. Thousands of people have been sick since the much-hyped billion-dollar scheme of President Prabowo Subianto was launched in January, with critics calling for its suspension over hygiene concerns. Head of the Badan Gizi Nasional, or BGN, agency Badan Hindayana, which oversees the program, said that more than 11,000 people suffered from food poisoning across Indonesia since the launch, including over 600 who were hospitalized. Out of 441 recorded incidents of food poisoning, the free meal program accounts for 211 incidents, or 48% of these cases, in which the program has fed more than 42 million people until November. Dadan added that half of food poisoning cases related to the free meal program were the result of E. coli contamination. Last month, more than 660 pupils from 2 schools in central Java experienced diarrhea, nausea, and dizziness after they ate meals provided by the government. Mexico's National Autonomous University opened a large-scale vaccination center at the Olympic Stadium to bolster protection against seasonal illnesses and prevent outbreaks of diseases once thought to be eradicated. The campaign, running until Friday, offers 4 vaccines, including influenza and pneumococcal shots, as well as boosters. Thousands of people were seen lining up outside the Olympic Stadium, waiting to be vaccinated. The effort, supported by federal and local health agencies, aims to administer 100,000 doses over several days. So far, more than 10,500 people have been vaccinated and over 20,000 doses applied. Pangron Su Yin survived a 3-set battle.
Semangat juang Harimau Melaya terus menyala. Kali ini, satu lagi misi menanti. Taring tajam sekali lagi bakal dibenam bagi memburu 3 mata penuh untuk negara. Terus marah ke pentas Asia. Kelayakan Piala Asia AFC 2027. Siaran langsung Nepal bertemu Malaysia. Selasa 18 November 8.30 malam di saluran OK dan Sukan RTM. Juga di RTM Play.
We begin our sports segment with local news. National mixed doubles pair Hu Pangron and Cheng Su-yin got off to a positive start by advancing to the second round of the Kumamoto Badminton Masters in Japan. In the opening round held at the Kumamoto Prefectural Gymnasium, the world number 20 pair had to work hard before edging out the Taiwanese duo Wu Xuanyi and Yang Chu-yun 21-18, 18-21, 21-19. Awaiting them in the second round is the Thai pair Dujapol Puavaranukroh and Supisara Piausampran. Also progressing was women's singles player Kay Lechana, who defeated Azerbaijan's Kisha Fatima Azara 25-23, 21-8, and will face Taiwan's Chiu Pin Tian in the next round. Meanwhile, 2 other national mixed doubles pairs were eliminated in the first round. Go Sun Huat and Siobhan Lai Jae Mi lost to the host pair Yuichi Shimogami and Sayaka Hobara 17-21, 13-21. While Wang Tianqi and Lim Chiu Xian were defeated by the Taiwanese duo Liu Kuang-heng and Zheng Yu-chia 15-21, 16-21. Men's singles player Justin Ho was also knocked out, losing to Japan's Shogo Ogawa 14-21, 19-21. Meanwhile, Malaysia's top women's doubles pair, Pearly Tan and M. Tina, got their Kumamoto Masters Japan 2025 campaign off to a strong start by coming back from a game down to overcome their Japanese rivals at the Kumamoto Prefectural Gymnasium. First seeded Pearly and Tina powered through the 18-21 loss of the first game to win the next 2 games, 21-9 and 21-17, securing victory over Mikoto Aiso and Momoha Niimi of Japan in a 53-minute thriller. Pearly and Tina will next face South Korea's Jong Na-eun and Lee Yeon-woo, whom they have defeated in all 3 of their previous encounters. Moving on to football. France captain Kylian Mbappe said Les Bleus would like to remember those affected by the 2015 Paris attacks when they take on Ukraine in a World Cup qualifier on Thursday, the 10th anniversary of the tragedy that traumatized the entire nation. Mbappe said at a press conference on Wednesday the French side would try to bring smiles to the faces of those who come to the stadium, even though it was not a joyful day. 10 years ago, Mbappe was not playing for the national team, but he said he feared for his parents, who lived in the suburbs of Paris. France were playing Germany that day when a suicide bomber detonated an explosive belt near Gate D of the Stade de France, killing 1 passerby during the friendly game attended by then-President François Hollande. When the tragedy occurred, the Stade de France was packed with nearly 80,000 spectators. The series of coordinated attacks in Paris killed 130 people. The 2028 European Championships will officially begin, hosted by the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. The tournament will be jointly played across 9 stadiums in England, Scotland, Wales, and the Republic of Ireland. England leads the way with Wembley Stadium, Manchester City's Etihad Stadium, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Villa Park, Everton's new stadium at Bramley Moor Dock, and Newcastle's St James's Park all staging games. Scotland will host matches at Glasgow's Hampden Park, while Wales has selected the National Stadium of Wales as its host venue. The Republic of Ireland rounds out the hosting duties with Dublin's Aviva Stadium completing the 9th venue lineup for the 2014 tournament. The multi-nation approach marks a collaborative effort across the British Isles, with England providing the bulk of the infrastructure while ensuring each partner nation maintains a presence in the tournament hosting arrangements. We now move on to tennis. Defending champion Jannik Sinner reached the semi-finals of the ATP Finals with a 6-4, 6-3 win over two-times winner Alexander Zverev on Wednesday. Italy's Sinner extended his indoor hardcourt winning streak to 28 matches, but victory over his German rival was not as comfortable as the scoreline suggests, with the world number 2 under pressure early in both sets. On Wednesday, Sinner faced 7 breakpoints compared to Zverev's 4, but pulled out aces and delightful drop shots when it counted. Sinner made a slow start, facing 2 breakpoints in the opening game, but found 4 aces at vital points to hold after 9 minutes. He let slip 2 breakpoints at 5-4 up before racing to the net to outwit Zverev and take the first set. Sinner came back from love 40 to hold his first service game of the second set, and Zverev forced another breakpoint when the Italian next served. But the champion's composure never wavered as he broke to lead 4-2. Zverev responded by taking a 30-40 lead the following game, but Sinner held firm. Sinner must retain his title undefeated to have any chance of ending the year as world number 1, while Carlos Alcaraz needs 1 more match win to stay top of the rankings. And that wraps up World Today. In our top story, US shutdowns outcome totally foreseeable. Tune into Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and Saluran Berita RTM. You can also stream the channel via YouTube or RTM Clicks web portal and mobile app. My name is Darryl Baptist. Thank you for watching. Salam Malaysia Madani.